Commissioner Shepherd?
Here.
Chairperson Salzgeber?
Here. And can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. All right, moving right along. Can I have the approval of minutes for April 2nd, 2025?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Can I have a roll call?
Commissioner Gaskell?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Salzgeber?
Yes. And we have the approval of requisitions as reported by the treasurer.
Madam Chairwoman, just prior to approving the bill list, need to walk on a resolution for the one item on the bill list for $5,000 for Lomax Consulting Group. Specifically, this is regarding the building project here. We have a lot of communications from the state regarding the Green Acres. There was a minor subdivision that had to take place. The easement, if you will, to exit the firehouse, the new firehouse portion, it was Green Acres, and took a little finagling with the state and some approvals. The township actually got a nasty gram from the DCA, specifically DEP, regarding the status of the Green Acres project hasn't been finalized. So this is some consulting services specific to Green Acres approvals. For those that are not familiar, it was kind of a land exchange. The Good Intent parking lot was designated Green Acres, and this was, for lack of a better term, undesignated. So we have the rightful access for the new firehouse project. So this is a contract with Lomax Consulting, specifically to DEP Green Acres Major Diversion Application Supplement. The retainer is for $5,000. It's on the bill list, with the total fee for services being $17,000 from Lomax. So if we could walk on a resolution for that prior to the bill list. And that would be resolution 2025. 19, would be the next bill.
And that's to just approve adding that, or is that?
I'll let council answer that question.
So the retainer is on your bill list tonight. Right now, we need to award them that contract.
Who picked them?
They,
Pannoni Engineering picked them, who is, we already have a relationship with the building. They're our designated engineer, and they're taking care of the surveying portion of it, and monuments and such, and they're, if you will, designated them because they're the, as they call them, speaking to them, experts in this field for Green Acres.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Green Acres. It's actually what I do for a living. I work in environmental consulting. I'm wondering why we didn't get competitive bidding on that consulting.
Well, number one, it's under the threshold.
For now it is,
doesn't
the
re-
retainer's under the
doesn't-
threshold. What
no, the
about
whole-
the hourly?
the contract's under the threshold.
Okay.
The whole contract's under the threshold, so that's why it was not put out to bid. And it was, again, they were recommended by Pannoni, who was the engineer for this entire project.
Alright, so that was 2025-19. Do we need to have a motion to walk that one?
Correct.
I make a motion.
Second.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Gaskell?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Commissioner Salzgeber?
Yes. Sorry, I'm taking notes. And now we can go through the regular approval of requisitions.
Well, now we need a
Motion to
walk
approve.
on, now we need a motion to approve.
Thank you, I make a motion to approve it. Thank you.
Second.
Commissioner Gaskell?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
No.
Chairperson Salzgeber?
Yes. Okay.
All right.
now we should be able to do the regular approval of requisitions, correct?
So moved.
Just clarifying. Can I have a second?
I second.
Commissioner Gaskell,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd,
Yes.
Chairperson Salzgeber.
Yes. Sorry, noting. Okay, moving right on to reports from personnel. Can I have the director's report, please?
So the month of April, a very busy month with the department, the two major mutual aid incidents, both being wildfire, urban interface it's called. And that being said, I'd like to read the letter we just received. Dear Mount Holly Fire District, this is addressed to Engine 5012 who took the run. On behalf of the Ocean County Board of Commissioners, I want to extend our deepest appreciation to you and all your members for the emergency response team, the assistance you provided during the recent wildfires in southern Ocean County. Paraphrase that they're very grateful to residents and protecting the number of homes that were protected. And the crew did not get back here till 3 o'clock in the morning, all volunteer crew, so we thank them for their service. They did a great job and we received communication on that. We also responded to Eastham Township for a similar incident. Spent a lot of time out there. Ladder 5015 is being utilized this month for a training program for new recruits out of the Fire Academy right next door in West Hampton. This is a recruit program for new firefighters employed by Eastham and West Hampton by the ESTC staff, which is the Fire Academy there. Chief Mason's done a great job of training several members of the cadre out there on the ladder so they can utilize that for their live burn evolutions. And they provided proof of insurance and other documentation, including driver's license for those that are operating the apparatus while they're using it this month. There's a schedule posted, it's about 6 times, Chief, 3, isn't it? Buildings and grounds, we finally located that master key we were talking about. Working with locksmith to save some money so we don't have to rekey the entire exterior. We'll just rekey some sensitive areas. That natural gas pressure booster that's been a pain in our butt with the alarm going off here. I met with the architect, Regan Young, who facilitated a meeting at no cost to us, was one of the engineers. And it was determined that that alarm is not impacting the building systems or operations. Basically, it's always going to be an issue, if you will, with the alarm going off until the PSE&G upgrades the service area to higher pressure. Had several meetings. The IT rep was on location dealing with some hardware. He recommended replacing 2 of the the actual computers in the finance desk area. Met with Chief Mason several times to go over this junior policy that we'll be talking about tonight, as well as the duty crew program. We finalized both. Chief Farnsworth met with him, and Chief and I powwowed where we can get to talk to EMS about the dispatch of EMS as it pertains to our resources being used in town for EMS calls. The training was performed, good job by everybody with that. And historian Carl Shaw's doing a good job. As you'll see outlined in my report about slowly bringing things down here and catalog them that are of historic significance from good intent. A couple miscellaneous things. We are going to be part of the Christmas tour this year in Mount Holly. We just hosted a car wash for the 8th grade for Holbein. And as everyone saw on social media, we helped a baby greyhorned owl at the Holbein school, which got a lot of attention. It was kind of fun.
Was the car wash postponed?
Yes.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. Oh, it rained, that's
She
good.
emailed us at like 8 o'clock in the morning, so it was.
That was just Sunday, did they give a date?
She has not yet.
All right, so there's pending rain date for that then, I didn't realize we canceled that. New 5 phones and iPads for the fire marshal's office, and the staff are on board. Obsolete equipment still being inventoried, to come up with a final list for what needs to be deemed inoperable so we can donate it. Driver's training programs being revamped, cleaning companies on board, they're doing a good job. And last but not least, I wanted to mention a special shout out to firefighter Cameron Mickey and Chief Mason. I received a call from a resident who was very thankful for their compassion and kindness on a call in which she had, I think it was a water pipe break in her house. and not a great time of the night. You know, most people were asleep, and they came out and we handled her problem for her, and she was very grateful for that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Chief's report, did you have a question?
Just that, if you wouldn't mind updating this, actually, this is great, Director. This is very good, thank you so much for doing this report, looks good. But could you add to Buildings and Grounds about the Green Acres situation, in your report? Just some details on that another day. Or just like, you know, send out an email about it, since it's not in your report.
Yes, ma'am. It was gonna be brought up at the meeting, obviously, with the approval was needed, so that's
Okay.
why it wasn't included, because it's being discussed in the open session.
That's it, this is really good, thank you for preparing it.
You're welcome.
Alright. Chief Mason?
The total fire calls for the month of April was 43. The total consisted of 4 general fire alarms, which are commercial fires in town. We had 0 out-of-town general alarms. We had 22 assist EMS. There was 8 miscellaneous, which constitutes like alarm systems or carbon monoxide alarm systems. With 1 car fire, 3 motor vehicle accidents, and then 15 regular alarm systems. The total hours for the calls were 128. Drill man hours was 127, and the total for the month was 255 hours. There was a meeting held at the line office and the director to discuss the changes to better the operations moving forward, hence the program that we're going to present tonight. Some of the members will be attending training over the next several months to enhance their skills and abilities, so I wish them luck, including myself. The members who responded out of town, thank you. It was almost kind of back to back. I think it was only about 4 days apart. All in all, it was 29 hours, almost 30 hours between the two. There was 1 application given for membership, and the members will be participating in several upcoming events this month. I think the car show's this month. There's a couple other things. Monday, May 26th is Memorial Day. We would like to invite the public to come out and assist with putting flags on the deceased members for Memorial Day. Every Memorial Day we go out and we put flags from the Relief Association on our Relief Association members that are deceased. So if the public would like to help with that, we're going to be meeting here at 11 o'clock on the 26th, and we'll disperse from there to the cemeteries to put the flags out. That's it for the chief's report. The monthly report of the fire official for the month of April, there was 27 life hazards uses. I'm sorry, total inspections was 27. There was 6 life hazards, 25 locals. There was 1 complaint. Total re-inspections was 7. Total resale inspections was 6. There was 4 fire permits issued for the month and 0 fire investigations. Respectfully submitted myself.
I have the safety officer's report.
What about the applicants?
Everything is running.
Oh, that was all part of-
All the meetings.
Good
was-
condition.
And all the meetings.
Yeah.
Raining, tired.
It's all good. So I met with the safety officer again. We have a standing monthly meeting. This reports in your packet along with some other items. I just want to commend, he doesn't like the attention. I think you maybe even hear Mr. Young in here. He's doing a good job working with the chief and myself, identifying safety issues as they arise, and even helping us update some policies. He's given us a good set of extra eyes, even with implementing some of these new policies. So I just want to commend him. He's doing a good job. His report's in your packet. And last but not least, for reports, as you notice, I have been submitting in your packets for the meetings as the monthly report from West Hampton Township, coming from Chief Farnsworth. I had asked him to update his report a little bit to reflect certain things, specifically any calls of interest that they respond to, but you'll see a detailed report, being we do hope have that shared service agreement with them to provide services during normal business hours when our volunteers are less available. So that's it for the reports.
Yes, sir. On to the minutes. All right, committee reports. You already touched on building and grounds, Gina, did you have anything else to add to that?
Just making sure that, you follow up with that change. Otherwise, I don't know what else is.
The other,
The Green Acres
thank
stuff.
you.
Yeah.
I got my action list to send you guys an email.
Okay. I don't have anything under for personnel. We already went over apparatus and equipment. Planning and services, nope. Budget, finance, insurance, anything on that end? Other than what we've already received? The audit. Okay. Just wanna make sure I'm checking off all our lists. I don't see anything for old business, and for new business, we have resolution 2025-16, which is adopting a policy for the junior member program. Director, do you wanna touch on that?
Yeah, so you'll know, I didn't want to kill any more trees, so in your paper version, you'll see there's a correction just on the top, on the header. I didn't change the header over from the policy template, I apologize. But, so basically, this is reestablishing a junior firefighter program. This is something that fire departments had for years. There was an issue that came up 10 years ago, about 10 years ago, where somebody must have got hurt somewhere, and it created a snowball effect, and statewide it was put on halt. They ceased to elect them. I know a lot of us, Chief and myself, joined as junior members when we were 16 years old, many moons ago. So it's reestablishing that. Obviously, it's super regulated now, as you see from the policy. The policy just basically reflects the guidelines that were put out by the state of New Jersey. But it does give us the ability to create a pipeline again for identifying young members of the community that want to volunteer, and a lot of times that translates into volunteer full-fledged members once they turn 18 and attend the necessary training. So as you can see, it's very restrictive of what they can't do than what they can do. But we made some minor tweaks to it based on the guidelines that were put out, adopted to us, but that's it in a nutshell. That being said, the guardians, parents, etc., whatever that juvenile's situation is, they have to approve just to, they can't just, correct, it's permission, they have to maintain good grades, they can't get suspended at school, they can't be in the firehouse after 10 o'clock, they can't be in the firehouse without an adult present, adult meaning one of the members. It's super regulated. They even have to get working papers and comply with all that. They can't be here more than 32 hours a week. So it's, like I said, this is pretty strict policy, and other departments have already adopted this and reestablished a program. It's something that we identified that we wanted to do.
Director, how does this compare to the one that was brought to our attention last year? I thought we had a resolution that.
We had a resolution, they just had to retweak some things.
Okay, and what was the original resolution for this?
Same resolution, just procedures throughout the.
Okay,
That's
same
all.
resolution, but just, so last year, when did we do that last year? The junior program? Does anyone remember?
I can't remember, Tommy, do you remember when we approved that?
Either November or December, I believe.
November, December of last year?
Yeah.
Right. And this is just the.
This is the
updated
policy.
procedures?
This is the
Yeah,
policy.
so that
Okay.
we can actually just, that's what we were trying to wait on getting done.
Okay. So it's the same thing, thank you.
Do you think there's any more question?
Motion approved, 2025-16.
Second?
Commissioner Castro?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Chairperson Bosier?
Yes.
All right, the next policy is a little bit more in-depth, because it is new. It's not something we've done before per se. We've had duty crew programs. This is a more structured duty crew program. You will see in the purpose that it does reflect what the FEMA guidelines are for a SAFER grant. So if and hopefully when, if we were able to apply and obtain some federal funding, unfortunately, DC is a mess right now as far as federal funding on all fronts. So this is a program that's regularly funded, but we don't know if it's going to get the funding reauthorized by Congress again this year. But again, this reflects what a FEMA compliant policy looks like. Chief and I spent a lot of time on this and coming up with what we think was an attractive program. And when I say that, because the point of this is to attract qualified, experienced firefighters to our department via these duty crew this program and the shifts, and also help with retention of our existing volunteer force by incentivizing them monetarily. It does not impact volunteer status at all because it is a stipend. It's not an hourly rate. It's not salary. It is defined by FEMA as a stipend. Being compliant with any federal guidelines, you'll see listed in the policy that there's a threshold of gross income that a volunteer cannot surpass in a calendar year. That is there based on the recommendation of those FEMA guidelines. It is for some daytime, some evening shift. We're looking at the call volume and the number of calls on certain dates, and we're still working to identify which days we're gonna implement this at first, but the goal is to have approximately 3 times a week have a shift, a volunteer crew on duty in the firehouse, ready to respond immediately to calls, as well as 2 evenings, 2 nights a week, weeknights, and not only will be here during the evening hours, but also potentially sleeping in overnight as a duty crew to respond immediately to calls. Again, it's very regulated as far as the standards. You have to possess certain qualifications, you have to maintain your qualifications, mostly completing your annual mandatory training sessions, which we already do. The department's already compliant with that, but just making sure that's new. There's a waiver associated with it, just for legal purposes, as far as the entitlements to any jobs or positions. It's just saying that you're acknowledging, despite a stipend, that you're not entitled to full-time benefits and things of that nature because you're still a volunteer. And last but not least, a checklist for when we're onboarding people. The chief and I also reviewed the application process that we're currently using, and we're comfortable with the current process and forms. We're just going to work a little harder to fast track them, if you will. Not cutting any corners. Obviously, people still have to pass background checks, letter of recommendation from your current fire department, things of that nature. You're getting references. It's just like any other applicant that are going to become members of the department, so they're still going through the necessary checks and balances for become members.
If we don't get funded from DC, are we still going to go forward?
Yes, ma'am. We have in the budget this year a line item for volunteer incentive program. So this was calculated based on what that funding available to us is. It doesn't preclude us from applying for the funding just because we have it budgeted. We can always also obtain the funding and do even a bigger and better program, if you will.
Okay, thank you.
Usually, when is the SAFER grant usually applied for and achieved regardless of what's going on? What is the standard for that?
Usually,
Timeline?
the funding timeline is usually February, March, so it already passed, but they did not have it this year yet due to the uncertainty in DC with funding and what's going on. So everybody's in a holding pattern waiting for that to be announced, if it even gets announced.
All right. So we're looking at not getting it. Like, let's say,
Or worse.
okay.
This policy is written to reflect what available funding we have right now, what we have to work with to get us through the end of the year, and then we can revisit it for next budget. Hopefully we apply and receive funding by then, we can work around that.
Okay, it'd be great to get a summary of that after you agree to talk about it.
As far as oh, anticipated revenue, right? But so
That, yeah.
Wouldn't accept the budget that way, so we may have to.
I don't see how they can play with the federal government calls it an incentive program and funds it. So it's
You guys can sit down and talk about that.
yeah, we'll figure
Yeah,
that
so
out.
that's what I'm saying, you guys
Well-
are definitely gonna have to discuss.
Yes.
The current line item is already listed as incentive program.
On our side.
On our side.
So it just,
We'll
when
figure
you
that out
guys
with
discuss
DCA.
it, definitely send a summary email to the rest of the commissioners.
Any questions about that policy, the program?
No, but I would suggest we table it until we find out whether or not we should call it the program this, or call it something else and then talk about what the government calls it separately. Like, so have our program called one thing based on federal volunteer incentive program grants, instead of trying to push it and then have it on the books for the DCA to look at it and say, that's not what we're not allowed to do that.
I personally think that we should go forward with it. We have an aggressive timeline. This is a public safety issue. We're trying to address a shortage of volunteer coverage hours. I know several departments, districts, specifically Beverly Fire District has this almost identical program. I know because they used my template that I've been using for years and years with different municipalities that I've helped assisted with the grant. And they're a fire district and they have a volunteer incentive program, and their budget is approved by the DCA. So I think it's just a matter of working out with the DCA of what we're calling things, not so much what a policy is called.
So let's just change
Draft the
it.
policy and then change the words, whatever you want to be, the heading, the title, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, we can change this and call it the duty crew program. We can call it whatever you want. Yeah, we can call it whatever you want to call it.
Rectify.
If you want to amend that on the
Yeah,
policy,
I knew there was a
accepting the
word
policy that you want to
change,
call it, that's
different
fine too,
words.
but I don't want to delay us
Yeah.
recruiting the people.
Right,
And
Having a policy for a duty group program.
duty crew
Yeah.
program,
Yeah.
if you guys want to change it, that's
Call it
fine.
for that.
I'll make a motion to approve 2025-17, adapting a policy for a duty group.
I second.
Commissioner Gasco?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Shepherd?
Yes.
Chairperson Salcier?
Yes.
The policy will be amended to reflect that title and
That title, I see
throughout
it.
the definitions and such.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna open it up to public comment now for general fire service matters. The public comment portion of our meeting is to allow the public to bring to the board's attention their concerns or comments. The board will respect the public's time by refraining from any comments until the speaker is finished. It should be further noted that the public comment portion of our meeting is not structured as a question and answer session. If a member of the public has questions they seek answers to, an appointment can be made with the appropriate committee. We ask that the public state their full name and address for the record and keep their comments to 3 minutes. I want to amend that to, like I said at the beginning of the meeting, if you could please sign in at the sign-in sheet, right at the front desk. Just print your name clearly with your name and your address. I would appreciate that.
I'll just note for the record, it's not required to sign in on the sheet, but it does help our clerk with the minutes.
Gotcha.
If you have the written incorrect spelling of your name, they're not required, but it is helpful.